Hey, welcome to the campfire. Today, per request, we're going to be making a Dutch oven pot roast with all the vegetables. Now we're going to start. I've got about a 3 or 4 pound. Actually, this one's 3.5 pound pot roast. I've been letting it warm up to just kind of room temperature a little bit, and we're going to start by just dredging it in some flour. And we want to get it. Nothing big and special. Just make sure it gets good and coated all over. Once you've done that, dust your hands off. I've been letting this Dutch oven get preheated so that it was ready to go. And it definitely looks good and hot. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil at the bottom. You can use vegetable oil if you want. Make sure, looks like I missed a spot right there on the end. Now we're just going to lay this in there. And we're going to put a good sear on all the sides of that. Probably about 2 to 3 minutes here. You can hear it sizzling. We're going to just let it brown for probably 2 to 3 minutes per side, but we're going to sear it all the way around. All right, so we've already flipped this once. We're going ahead and just, like I said, searing it on all sides. You look at what this brown is, this is what we're looking for. Just a good little bit of a sear, about 3 minutes. Now once you get it seared on all sides like that, good and even, we're just going to take it out of there, set it aside for a minute. We're going to deglaze the bottom of our pan. Now I'm going to use a little bit of beef stock, pour in there. Woo. That's a little bit on the warm side. Wooden spatula, and we're just going to scrape, make sure to get all the little chunks off the bottom, all that crispy stuff, get it broken up and stirred in so that way that'll add flavor. Then we're going to add our meat right back in. Now we can add our vegetables. We've got a large white onion, just kind of quartered up. We're going to throw that in there. Kind of spread the love around. About 5 or 6 good russet potatoes, peeled and halved. You don't want to cut them into small chunks, too small, because they'll cook too fast. And you don't want that. You want your vegetables have a little bit of bite to them at the end. Some chunks of carrot. Again, kind of bigger chunks. Spread them around. Now I'm going to add a few cloves of garlic right here in the middle, because everybody loves garlic. A couple sprigs of fresh rosemary. I'm going to add just a little bit more broth to where it comes up about 1/2 or 2/3 up the sides of your roast, because you don't want this drying out. Now we're going to put the lid on this, and we're going to set it off on the trivet. So what I've done here is I've moved it over onto a tall trivet off to the side of the fire. And I'm just going to get in here, try to shake some ash out of these coals, and go Not real heavy, but kind of light around the outside of this on the ground. If you can hold your hand over that Dutch oven more than about 5 seconds, it's too cool. Go ahead and add a little bit of heat. And now we got it set up, we're gonna let it run for a while. I'll come out here and rotate it and check it to make sure that the coals are still hot. But we're gonna let this run for about 2.5 to 3 hours. All right, folks, we're out here checking this. It's been about an hour. You know, we're gonna go ahead and I've been rotating it a little bit, but we're gonna take the lid off and look at that. You can see it bubbling a little bit. Everything's getting hot, but my coals have been cooling off. You can see I can hold my hand there with no real problem. So I'm gonna go ahead, take these coals off. Make sure to do that downwind from your food. I'm going to take this off, actually, switch it out for a shorter trivet. Put that back on there. And again, break this up into some coals that we can use. We're going to go just kind of light around the top on the edges. Check that. We're right back to good heat. Get the coals back together. We're going to let that go back for probably about another hour or so. We'll keep an eye on it, rotate it to keep the heat even, but we'll just let it simmer for a while. Alrighty then. This has been on about 3.5 hours. We've changed the coals a few times. We've rotated it back and forth to make sure the heat stayed even. We didn't want anything burning. Let's look at what we've got. Oh, that is looking beautiful. Smells good too. Y'all ought to have smell-o-vision. So I'm going to go ahead, first off, take this rosemary out right off the top. Hey, we got incense. Go ahead, grab this. Lift it up here where I can reach it. Now we're going to proceed to take all of this out. Now the onions and the garlic can stay in there. I'm going to take this roast out. Oh, it's just falling apart. Look at that. Set it over here. Now we're going to take us just some flour. You can use cornstarch, but I'm going to use a little flour. Go ahead and stir into this. Oh, I lost a carrot in there. I didn't realize. And just kind of thicken this gravy up just a little bit and make it more into a gravy with all those onions and garlic in there. You're going to want to stir. I'm using probably about 3/4 of a cup in all of this. I'm gonna go ahead and stir it in until it's all smooth and incorporated. You don't see no big lumps of it floating around. Once we get it stirred in, we're just going to take it, set it right back on the hot coals for a little bit, and let that thicken up. Probably about 5 minutes, but we're going to stir it a few times in there. All right, that gravy is looking beautiful. We're going to go ahead and take that off the fire. Now for the best time of all of this, sampling time. We're going to get us a piece of carrot. Find us potato. Oh, that one just came apart on me. Get me a piece of meat here. Yeah, I don't need one that big. Brought me an extra fork in case I drop one. Add a little bit of gravy over the top. Look at that. And potatoes still got a little bit of bite, but they're good and tender. You can definitely taste the onion and rosemary in them, and a little bit of garlic. Carrots are great. What did I do with my knife here? That's the good. I want a second sample. That right there is pot roast made right. Well, now that the sampling's done, I want to thank you for stopping by this evening to the campfire. Hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, make sure to hit the like button so we're encouraged to keep doing what we're doing. Hit the subscribe button and the notification so you can make sure to catch future videos. But more than anything, I want you to go and live the adventure God has called you on.